Hi guys, Ginger Cook here. It's Acrylic Painting Monday, which means we're going to be doing a really fun, simple, but spectacular acrylic painting. It's going to be easy to do. We're going to learn a lot of new stuff, and we're going to go back to our snow globes because last year we missed doing a snow globe. We've done a snow globe every year since 2017. We're going to add to our snow globe collection. It will be on a 9x12 canvas. And we'll go with our 2020 reindeer snow globe, which is also on YouTube. So this is if you've been, getting your holiday decorations ready, your winter decorations, your winter artwork, and you got to get ready to get that up. This is the video to watch. I think you're going to have fun doing it. It's not going to be hard. And of course, your traceables can be found on acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com. And you want to be an orange member or above, okay?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you. So, John, are we coming back down here? This is a premiere. I don't think I mentioned that.
Oh, what's that mean?
Well, in other words, usually John and I do shows that we call live shows. And this time we're doing, we've filmed this sometime before it airs. And so we want to thank our moderators who have come. Chances are, when we film these, either we're traveling, maybe got sick, whatever the reason, we need some pre-filmed, some YouTube videos pre-filmed.
And we're really liking the premieres. This may become
and then when it's possible for us, then we join the premiere and we'll be in the chat. So if you want to know, people are asking questions that which normally I would answer on the air, I've answered them in the chat if I'm able to be there. So that's how I would put that. So anyway, thanks our moderators for coming, and I hope you enjoy our snow globes. We're going to be doing, this is our, I found this really cute picture of a snow globe in a little house with some trees and stuff, and I thought, well, I can do something with that. And so we're going to be painting that. And I'm going to go ahead and trace that on. This is this is leftover paint that John just kind of smudged on. You could just do purple and white if you wanted, or a little three blue
colors. I can't believe you're going to cover that.
We're going to cover it up, John. But anyway, so this is what we do with our leftover paint. After, we don't throw it away. We just cover another canvas with it. And John, does all of those, and they're marvelous. So we're going to use this one because I like all the colors in it. We're going to go ahead and take a traceable. We're going to trace this on. I'm going to pause the video while I do that so we don't take up airtime watching me trace on a video. It's like watching grass grow. So, we're just not going to do that. So, John, if you will pause.
Well, why don't you get started and I'll pause it.
All right. So one of the things you want to remember to do when you're using the Sorrel paper is make sure it's actually, you can see it. Tape your picture down. Something like this that's you want to go back and forth over the several times over each line. Don't just do a line because it won't show up. Okay, and if you need to, because you want the circle to be correct, and it'll be just very annoying if you don't get the circle right. And it's going to come down here again, and half the circle, of course, the bottom part of the circle, probably if you thought of this as a clock, you almost have to turn it a little bit to get a good.
Well, that's what I certainly would do. I would turn the canvas so I could draw it easier. It's
a little hard, a little challenging because I'm on the wood border, and then I got back down on the canvas, and it's just it's coming right over to the edge here. But that's awfully close to the edge, you guys. That is just too close to the edge.
How close is the other side?
About like that. And so
you're supposed to split those differences.
Oh, I sure tried, John. You can't tell. So let's erase it and start again. This is the one thing. Well, maybe we couldn't pause it because. All right, now you know how to do it. Let's just move the.
Move the picture first.
Let's move the paper. We had a little trouble printing this out. Our printer doesn't print out 9x12. It prints out 9 by something.
Yeah, when you tell it to do a 9x12, it does 9 1/4, but the 12 doesn't go. It's not proportional.
It won't do it. So we need to get this right here, about like that, about there.
Do you have the up and downs right?
I don't know. Let's see. You've got to get the up and downs right too. Okay. So I want to get this edge. See, right. I should really have you trim this exactly 9x12. so I know exactly
can
which
pause
edge
that and
to
we can
put
do
it
that.
on. Huh?
Let's pause it and we'll do it.
Let's just trim it exactly because this is so close. I'm not, if it moves at all, then I'm wrong.
Okay.
Okay, so we've trimmed it down and reprinted it. And let's just see how we did here. Let's just not make stuff up. Let's see how we did. We're going to make it, you guys. So, all right. So here I go again with the
globe.
with our globe. Now, the funny thing is that my canvas was a little squishy. So I took the moment while John was reprinting out another snow globe that I went ahead and sprayed the back of my canvas, and then twice with the hair dryer dried it. If I had really taken the time, I would have used the hot water from John's tea kettle. If I was really concerned, but hot water will. But what it is if your canvas is too loose, you can't get a good traceable going. It just won't do it.
You keep fighting. It's like trying to write on a sponge. Yeah,
and sometimes you can cut a little piece of cardboard and slip it in behind the canvas there. You got this little stretch canvas. Of course, canvas like the Proton canvas boards from Jerry that are really masonite boards covered with canvas, they always give you a good line. Now let's see, how did we do? Okay, I can see it now. I think we're going to be okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put our little house in. Again, you don't need to watch me do it because we're going to be expedient. So we'll be back after I get this traced on. And you're still leaving it, aren't you?
Right at the moment, I wanted to get a couple of shots of it.
Okay. The main thing is just the house. There's this fun little chimney here.
Well, now
I can make up well, I'm just saying you didn't turn it off. So I'm just explaining I'm not doing all the trees. This house has some unusual architecture, I guess is the way I would put it.
Okay, we got that traced on there.
Barely, just you barely see it. White probably wasn't the best choice against this light
Well,
background.
I offered you other flavors.
Well, you know what? It kind of was showing up and then it quit. So I'm going to just sharpen a pencil and chalk pencils and just you can spend some time now.
Kind of whimsical little house.
Yeah, kind of. Blue's a good color because even if it gets into colors the paint, it will be okay. Yeah, it is like there's a little window up here, and then this curves in like this, and this side curves in like this in the front. Okay, so I think we couldn't have done it much smaller because of the
originally we designed it as an 8x10, and it's just too small
to get the details and something like some things you can do that small. We've got a pile of really cute 8x10 snow globes, but the images you see are bigger. Let me just show you a couple. Here's a panda bear. These are all some YouTube ones we had. And this is a Wave and Water Masterclass one we did in 2016 with the.
I really like that one.
Yeah, this is really a cool one with the lighthouse. But those are just some ones we've had in the past. All right, what have I just lost? My bottom one here. Here you go. Hang on. I picked them all up, including that one. Okay. So I've done a little pre-work on this, not just this part, but we're going to talk about the colors now. We may add some more golds and different ones, but right now we've got, if you've got our color chart.
Slide to the left a little bit. Thank you.
We've got the zinc white and the titanium white. Those are real important when you're doing anything with snow and clouds. Ultramarine blue, phthalo green, burnt umber. And I don't think I have burnt sienna out. I probably will add it though. And yellow, cad yellow light, yellow oxide, magenta, cad red medium. Magenta, I think that's it. Oh, and orange, cadmium orange.
Yeah, the cad orange up there.
Yeah, cad orange. Those are the colors. All right, so let's start by not losing the house, because I mean that's it. You could barely. I'm sure I can't even see what she's painted. You know what she got there? Who knows? It's a little. So let's take a little bit of phthalo blue and white, and let's just paint the roofs. The first coat of paint, right? If we get those, I think we can figure out where the chimney goes. I don't think we need to go around that.
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody that came this evening for our semi-live premiere.
Yeah, and I hope we've got some of our snow globe collectors. I know people have been asking, are you going to do another snow globe this year, right? So I thought, I'm glad we decided to do that. I didn't mention Dazzling Purple. I have that. There's the store here. It's going to be Dazzling Purple. And let's see. Well, you're going this. Well, you can kind of see where I said the house is. And let's see, here's a little phthalo green and blue. We'll add that together. A little white, slightly blue color. And this is part of the roof, does this. Comes in this way. And again, we're going to there's a lot of detail in there. And tonight we're not going to put all that in. As fun as that would be, we're going to do the minimum of detail to make this work. And if you were, log onto our website and you want the full Monty, as they say, and you want to add more detail to your house with a tiny little brush, knock yourself out, right?
We're not here to stop you.
No, we're happy that you can do that. So a little purple like that. There you go. I'm just going to kind of save a space where the windows go. And Again, we're just trying, at this point, just trying to block it in. Because again, this is a very small little area. And we want something a little lighter for the rest of this. Let's try a little ultramarine blue. Like that. Again, I will dry this as I go to kind of fill in some more stuff. But at this point, all I'm trying to do is figure out where this house is, sort of, so that we don't have to, we went to all the trouble of tracing it on. So I want to make sure I still have the house here. I'm going to say there's some, we'll just use purple as our darker color. It's sort of a gingerbready looking house. There you go. I'm saying here's our other awning. coming out this way. There's something dark under here. And then it comes down. It's a very funny little house. Let's put a little red with the door. Make that door a little darker. All right, now I'm going to dry that because I want to go back into yellow for the windows, and I have to really get the purple off my brush. If you're not washing your brush really well in between these kind of color changes,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. Drying now. Okay. I'm going to really rinse the brush. Okay.
Wring it out good.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to take some cad yellow and white. That's cad yellow light and white. I'm going to go ahead and do this right here. My first window. So the first color we're putting on. Yes and yes. Wait, it looks like a little house in heaven now, doesn't it? It's up in the clouds.
Looks nice. That's a great background.
John, you did a marvelous job on the background.
That's the extent of
So
my
it's almost
painting
a shame to paint over it, wasn't it?
It really is, but
You sacrifice a lot.
I do. So my finest of works have been covered, and people that buy them in an auction, they're getting a twofer.
Exactly. Let's see. This comes out a little further here. Got a little bit of yellow oxide on it, tiny little bit of green in my brush. Okay. So that now we know at least where the base is of the snow globe. See, did I keep that? Well, I can't hardly see. Maybe I didn't put it in this time, though. This one. I'll just bake it. There you go. There's our label. Okay. All right. So now we know that happened. It's good to know what happens. You see, that's my thing, is that what happened next? So what happened next was took some white paint and we came along here like this. We very thinly outlined the snow globe.
Don't want to lose that.
No, let's turn it upside down.
Don't be afraid to rotate your canvas so you can work it.
Yeah, because I mean, some things are just easier. You know, maybe you're right-handed and you paint from kind of left to right. You know, maybe going this way is more of a challenge. I know that, for instance, when I'm using the mouse on the computer and I'm using one of those outline tools where you, get the lasso and try and outline something, that there's certain things, certain angles that are very
weird.
Well, they're just not as comfortable as others. Yes. I would say that would be probably the main thing, is they're just not as comfortable as others. So that's kind of a good start here. I'm going to dry this too, so I don't lose that line.
Well, that's cemented in. You know, that's a save as right there.
Well, you know what? That's you kind of see where we have to be to do this, right? And
like it is right now. I'm thinking let's keep it a floating house.
We could stop now, right?
I'd like to thank everybody that showed up tonight. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out if you haven't already done so. Hit that thumbs up.
So the color I've got here is kind of yellow oxide and a little bit of burnt umber.
Kind of like a walnut color.
Uh-huh. And got a little phthalo green in it. Remember, when you're painting with acrylics, you start with your darker colors and then go lighter for the most part. There are exceptions to that rule, but most of the time that's what you do.
Dark to light.
Yeah. Where watercolor is, you do just the opposite.
Light to dark. Basically, once it's down in watercolor, it's down. There's no takebacks.
Well, the white of the paper is the white, so you can't.
Well, you can't go back over with gouache, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, you won't get the
typically,
same.
you leave the white of the paper.
You won't get the same effect. All right, so here we go. All right, so
That's
we're going
good first coat.
First coat, and take a little dark blue here. Come under here like that. That's just a little ultramarine blue.
And we did not clean the brush. You notice we did not?
No, didn't clean the brush. And gonna take
dirty brush painting.
Yeah, take a little of the phthalo blue and white now, now I got too much paint on the brush. I'll wipe it all off. So I'm just working with that bit of paint. That's where you run into trouble, is you new painters, that you don't know how much paint to use. It's like learning to cook and not understanding not to put all the salt in it. Well, you know what I mean? You don't want to dump all the salt in. Well, you don't want to dump all the paint in either. So let's pick a color, kind of a combination of ultramarine and phthalo blue and white for our outside of our snow globe. I'm going to make that blue.
And the way you learn the quantity of paint is to practice. You'll get a feel for it.
Yeah, that's really, you're absolutely right.
You can't really teach.
Yeah, you have to see what happens, and it just, you'll see me all the time. It was the hardest thing for John to understand why I did it, was that you'll see me all the time.
Put paint on and wipe it off.
Wipe it off, and it seems a waste, and it isn't. That's just what you have to do. So we're just going to come around here now and start
snugging up to the globe.
Okay, I'm going to spin the canvas. A little magenta in that blue too. It's pretty.
So you have a little phthalo, a little ultra?
Yeah, I got a little phthalo, a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little magenta, a little white. You can
just what's in the house.
Just see, kind of blend that in together. It doesn't all have to be exactly the same. Okay. All right, so now we're getting it narrowed down, aren't we? To, what's here and what's inside. Okay, and I don't really like this dark, unpleasant color, so let's just change that now. A little bit of white. I want a shadow color, but nothing that dark. That's the nice thing about acrylics, you can change it if you don't like it.
Don't like it, paint over it.
I think in the other picture I had this pretty dark. Let's put a little magenta with that. There we go, that's pretty. All right, so we're going to say that that's our I think we've got it most of it in. I'm going to rinse the brush and come up here. See, the top part isn't painted very well. Let's see up here. It's we're missing a little paint up here. Sometimes that's the other thing I notice too, is that people don't use enough paint.
A lot of times they grab water instead of paint.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Grabbing the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dry this. John's going to just pause the video, but you won't even notice. It'll just be dry, and I'll be right back. Ha-ha! Okay. Now notice, like, for instance, right here, I didn't cut in. Do you see that?
Yeah, it kind of went over
cut into the snow globe right there. Sometimes the one thing I like about premieres is I don't feel rushed. When I'm doing a live show, I'm pretty stuck with whatever I'm doing. If I do a premiere, I can come back and change something that I'm not happy with. Where here, it's pretty tough to do. And if you're doing a live thing, because then it's just whatever it is.
What it is, it is.
Yeah, there you go. Wanted to make sure I'd cut into that. Again, it would help to have paint on the brush. There, okay, so I wanted to just cut into that, and here, make sure that I have this side. Okay. All right, so now, I've got some brown up here I don't like. What is that?
I didn't put it there.
No, look at that. I've got a little brown up here, and I don't like that at all. Let's get some more color. We talk about using more paint, but we just didn't. So here we go. Let's just change this color up here. Just didn't like that, and that's all right. Just 2 coats of paint are better than 1.
Layer, layer, layer.
Well, the thing of it is that you just, acrylics dry darker, and you may be getting an effect you don't like. I can get more of a halo effect around there if I do another little coat here like that. A little bit of a halo effect of the dark. There. Sometimes it just looks a little bit neater to have that. And I take a little bit of the white and the phthalo green, which really makes a turquoise blue when you do that. Makes a really nice snow turquoisey blue.
Pretty color.
Come under here. Yeah, it's just sort of a pretty color.
It's kind of like the Southern Ocean blue.
Yeah, it's very similar. Southern Ocean blue is phthalo blue, green shade, and phthalo blue, and mixed together with white. All right, so
it was a color offered by Matisse.
What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and put in the background around our house. So I'm going to have a lot of. I want some grade. I want a little bit of a grade blue, so I'm going to add like 1% orange in that. I'm going to start doing this sort of interesting sky, which I think is kind of interesting because it's not all the same color. Again, too much water on the brush. Wow, it's such a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always something.
Just too much water on the brush, and
it's hard to be an artist anymore.
It is. Tell you what, it's hard.
I mean, it's become a real job.
Well, you know what, John, it does is pause for 1 second, would you? All right, now let's try a little bit of the magenta and white. Round out my globe again here where we kind of lost a little bit of it right there. A little bit of zinc white. A little bit of magenta. A little bit of dazzling purple. Now this is where having a good rag comes in, which we've now dropped on the floor. Pause and I can get it. All right, now we got the chair off the rag that was on the floor. And laugh. It's just so annoying.
I'm not laughing.
You are. You're laughing. It's so annoying. It's just I just can't express.
There is no laughter.
Did I tell you it was annoying? Just all right. Let's try some phthalo green and phthalo blue over here on this side. Let's do something a little darker right here. This is a mystery land, isn't it?
So far, it's like we're in the clouds.
A little bit of phthalo blue. There we go. I want something a little darker right here on this edge of the globe. And by our house like this. Now I'm going to take a little zinc white, because that's our transparent white, and come up here, and there's still paint on the brush. See, this is the trick. There's still paint on the brush, and so when you use the transparent white, you're doing this sort of light stain. And I'm using the background color too as part of that. See, so I'm getting this really, honestly, it just kind of looks like Walt Disney, doesn't it? Kind of the way this is with the Magic House.
So far.
Here's some titanium whites and some light blue. Now, of course, you can use a brush like this, one of these blender brushes, which Cinnamon sent me this. And I really quite like that, because you can use a brush like that and kind of soften those clouds up a little bit. Here's a little zinc white. I'll come by the house. Even some titanium here, because I want the house to be brighter. And I'm going to come up here like that and just suggest that there's these mystical clouds. This is a mystical land, you guys. I'm going for mystical. What do you think?
I'm thinking you're heading that way, that's for sure.
I want something light in front of the back behind the house. There you go. Mystical. There you go. Something a little lighter here with the pinks and the zincs. And now what do we got over here? Something kind of pink and purple over here. Put some classical music on when you're doing something like this, and just let it go. You know, don't get so embedded in what I did as much as trying to get the feel of it, the feel of this mystical stuff. And so I got a little bit more purple over here, and then we'll go into the blue in this area, and white. So I want the blue underneath here so that the white can go over it. Remember, when you've got a snow globe, if you want the snow to show up, and a little tiny bit of yellow in that will, let's see, let's phthalo blue. Kind of making my blues. That's too green. I don't want that. It's all right. Sometimes you get a color you don't want, and I just asked John for a new tube of phthalo blue because I was out. I wonder what I did with it. You just handed it to me, right? Yeah, there you go. You see where it's all out of
Brand new.
Yeah, there you go. And that's put enough out where I can use it there. So, see, we've got the phthalo blue color here and white. There you go, a tiny bit of that light green color. And I want, next to the house here, I want some sort of blue. And that's still too, not quite the shade I want. Put more white in it. I'm suggesting there might be a yard here by my house. That's what I'm going for here. It's like a yard or something. See, I want that to be darker blue because we got to have a tree there. Maybe we can have some purple pink.
So right now you're basically just working on all the background and the...
Yeah, because I've got to put the trees and stuff, and they got to show up because they're going to be covered with snow. So you got to figure out what's going to be light and what's going to be dark, right? So right now I'm looking for, you can see where we've got, except for the door, about the only thing that's really that dark. Now we're going to go back to a pink color, maybe some magenta and white, and do a little bit of a peach color up here like this. Come back around here like this. And that's I want to get the feeling of the snow going up here. That's why I wanted that so dark. And I wanted a little bit of the white and cad red medium. Take a little bit of an orange color with the kind of combination of magenta and cad red medium, and I want a little bit of the dark up in here. Now wipe all the, see, I've got too much paint, so I'll wipe all that off now. I'll just say some of that is up here, and a little bit of zinc white up here so it gets a little lighter. Maybe just didn't quite come off pink as like I wanted it to. Now, it went over purple, so that may be why. So if I really felt like I needed some sort of pink area there, I might have had to dry it a little bit more than I did. I know that, for instance, I want this to be a little darker on this side before I get going with it. Okay, again, wipe the brush off, maybe rinse it so it's just damp, doesn't have any paint. Now I can just use the edges and blend that out, see? Because I want that dark on that side. So, let's see. Let's dry that, and then we'll add more stuff. All right, so what I want to do now is take a little brush with white paint, and there's just certain places I want some white. Maybe around this house, coming down like that. I want to suggest that maybe there's a waterfall coming down from here like this. Now that's a wrong brush for that. Let's find one that'll work. You need like a tree brush, like one like this, like for limbs. Okay? And you need to wet it. And then if you want some lines, I'm sorry, it's my fantasy. I've got the little the tiny brush like that. I'm going to do a little bit of light right here. Just small things like this so that I can, now that's all I wanted that brush for. I know that's just so crazy. We'll use it again, but not right now. I always think these things are going to be so fast, don't I, John?
Absolutely.
I can do this in 10 minutes, I'm thinking, and then 20 minutes later, you guys are in it with me now.
Now we're committed.
So we're going to put some kind of icy stuff here. Some white and magenta. Someone says, well, what is that? I don't know. It's just my imagination. Some icy stuff coming up here like this in my snow globe. People have been shaking it. Whoa, them, right?
Every time you saw them, did you used to go by and shake them? I did.
Did you do that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what they're there for. Try to get a blizzard going in them.
So I've got some white coming up around this way too. Oh, I know what it is. Now I can use my little brush. I want it to feel like frost. So I've got to give it little wings.
Oh, you got, yeah.
Little wingy things here like that on the edge.
Yeah, break it all out.
I think that's what I'm doing here. Just what's that silly blender brush thing? I think I've got a smaller one using that. Here's a little zinc white to just fuzz that into nothing. Okay. There's our little frosty things. Let's do that on the other side too. Just a little frosty things. I like that. Don't you like the word frosty things?
I like frosty thing.
frosty things like that. And then you've got then we've got our beautiful waterfall coming down here like that. Another coat of paint. Okay, so there you go. So now I'm going to put, this requires some water in a little cup, I think. There we go. I'm going to put the tip of the brush in the water and then wiggle it around in the paint and then roll it off on the paper towel and then go back into the paint one more time and say that this is a tree right here. I've got another one right here. So far, so good. And I think I've got one. Oh, one here, one over here. So far, so good. Let's put a little green in the trunks. Now, okay. All right, so far, so yeah, that's so far, so good, yeah. Now, as long as we're doing stuff, let's just, let's get a little outline on the top of the roof here like this. Almost drawing it in. A little bit of, this is where Posca pens probably will come in very handy. Later, we'll be doing the Posca pens, but we'll do what we can here with just a brush first. And then we'll see what we can do about Posca pens. Because that'd be much faster than trying to do all this with a little tiny brush.
Doing pretty good with that liner brush.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. I mean, all things considered, not too bad. And I know I've got another big tree right here. Okay. Put a little brown with it. So, we're getting sort of this feeling of that, right? So in order to just leave everything alone here, let's move on to the base, let that dry. We can let that dry, and then we'll move on to the base and get that done. Then we can move on and do other things. So I've got the big blender brush. And let's just take some gold paint and a little bit of orange and come in here like that. And a little bit of green. Ooh, too much water on the brush. You just hear me say that all the time. Too much water on the brush. Let's get some green. Because remember, if you're using a stay wet palette, your paint is already wet. Okay? It's very wet anyway. So if you're trying to do this and then use a stay wet palette too, you're going to find that sometimes you end up with paint that's a little wetter than you want to work with. How's that?
That's a good way to put it.
A little bit of orange under here. This is pretty easy. I haven't really played much with a brush like this, but if I ever find anything, I always told you that if I ever find anything I particularly like, I always want to be sure to share it. Yes and yes. Okay, where's my picture? So, even with something like this, though, you've got to be willing to come back in and dry it where it needs to be dried. because you layer things like that, and if you put all the colors on at one time, what'll happen is you just have sort of a one paint color, and you won't know what happened. How'd she get all those colors? She dried it, friends, before she tried to do it, right? That's the key. So you just want to be able to do that. And let's see, I want a little bit darker here, down here at the base, like that, before I dry it. Yeah. Okay. So then I will dry that. Well, maybe I'll come and see. Is this all dry? Let's come back with some of I told you I was going to use some gold paint and try the windows. Let's do that. This is just some Martesa gold. I thought that might be kind of nice to do that in the windows of our house. Just if you had a little gold, doesn't really matter, kind of some sort of metallic gold paint. I think on a snow globe, this is kind of fun. We'll put a little bit on the globe too itself. We'll come along here and add some of this gold as we need it.
Some highlights.
Kind of highlights, and we'll do that. We'll come back later and do that. But you see already that made a funny little difference, didn't it? So now, let's see. We did gold, and then we want to do it. Your typical windows always have a bit of orange in them. So even though we did a little bit of gold, we'll just add a touch of some orange. Just a drop of orange like that, so that it looks like all the lights are on in the house. Yeah. And let's see, what else do we want to do? Oh yeah, we could put snows on the trees. What do you think? Snows on the trees? Shall we? Oh well.
I thought it was just sticks in the air.
Yeah, I know. So, well, we're going to start out with some dark green. Yeah, with the branches. And with any good pine tree, I'm going to start off with using this tiny little brush here. I'm going to tap in some dark green, and I'd even put a little red in that too. A little bit of magenta in that green to get that dark color. You put you want to put the too much yellow. The pole, the stick first, so you have it's like the skeleton, so you can see where your leaves have to go. Your branches, as they feather out. And here's some crossover. You don't have to, this is this is supposed to be kind of fun here, so don't get too panicked about the trees. We're just doing our typical little pine trees. We haven't put any snow on them yet. The skirt gets a little bigger.
The key is notice how random they are.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it, John? They're quite random. Now, in the actual picture, he's got a different kind of pine tree, but I'm not planting those. Sorry. I'm planting Ginger's planting. Ginger's doing the easy pine tree ones. I'm not planting the hard, he's got one of those ones where there's a lot of trunk and then you see some leaves and everything. No. We're doing the bigger pine trees. It's already starting to look like something, and we haven't done much, right? So here we're gonna say, there you go. Well, this one we may kind of do a little bit like his, a little bit. It's just, depending on where you live in the country, you see pine trees that are, with snow on them that are slightly different. And his have, I always like to put the green on first, even though in this little illustration that we had there wasn't any. I like to add that because the thing is that that's the snow is falling on the top of these green things, and so there's going to be some green underneath showing through, depending on how heavy the snowfall is. Yeah. So, all right. So far, so good. Now what? Oh well, we could. Yeah, we need to do the. Okay, so let's see. Are we going to put any in the front yard? We got to do some sort of yard here, but we've got to finish the house first, right? So let's dry this. Put the snow on the trees. finish the house and then keep going. All right, so we're going to go back to the white for the snow. We'll put a little blue in it. And now we're going to use the tiny little brush like this. Do little dots on top of it. Remember, it's falling, so it's landing on the tops of stuff, right? Not on the bottom. And you need a little brush for this. This is a little picture. If you don't have a little brush, I'd say do the picture larger so that you have a little more leeway.
Is that white?
That's white with a little bit of blue.
Okay.
See, it's already getting cuter. Yes and yes.
Now it's looking like Christmassy, wintry looking.
Yeah, wintry. Okay, then I'm going to go into more white for this one because it's in front of that one. It's just landing on top. It's catching on top, like the tree's holding up its little hands like that, and the snow's hitting it. So it wouldn't be underneath the arm, right? So that's why you always see a little bit of green. Just sometimes understanding and there's always some in front because there's branches sticking in front. So that's how you show it. There's a branch right at you. You kind of show it with the snow coming up in front of you like that. Yes and yes. I always like to put snow on trees. I never got a flock Christmas tree, so I just constantly am flocking trees, I think. All right, so there I've got the little snows on there. Yes. Okay. And I'm going to work on the house, but I have to dry the snow. And the only reason I'm drying the snow, right, is because I don't want to get my hand in it and smear the house. Does it make sense? So here's some, let's put another layer of snow back up here like that. Okay, so there, right? So I'm going to dry that. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a black Posca pen, shake it up, test it on something, and say I can lay my hands right over the. Okay, got a little window there. Now that's really dark, John. That's not thin enough, that pen.
Nowhere near
It's just not thin enough. So that's not a fine Posca pen. So this is why we dry, you guys. So that's not a fine one. Let's see if we can find a different one.
What color cap did that have? That's a black cap. So roll it around. The ones with the clear.
Well, let's try this one.
It should say 0.07 or 0.03 or fine point. That's a very small window that you're doing.
I know. This is why we couldn't have done this 8 by 10 either. We're going to rethink how we draw it in, too.
Yeah.
I don't like, well, all right, we're going to have to go with that, whether I like it or not.
So you folks may want to do yours a slightly different.
Well, you know what? This is what we can do.
What we can do with the tools we
See,
got.
look, there's this. Where'd that come from? A bit of black right there. That must have been on my hand.
The big glob of...
Black right there. Or maybe it was in the rag. Sometimes you have to dump the rag too. So we're going to say, here's the door. This needed to come down. Okay, so we just needed some. Now another option would have been to do white on the windows. You know, once I started with the black, I was pretty much committed. But I could have done white. Now we had a place where we had a lot of different pens. Remember that?
Those pens.
Different colors ones. Do you remember where we put those?
Oh, yeah.
He does. All right, so here's some blue here. Different blue pen. And just kind of trying to follow the outline of that house a little bit that I see in my reference. Okay, so I'm thinking, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that the house needs to have some snow on the roof that doesn't have in the picture. Yeah?
Yeah. They didn't shake up the globe on the picture.
I think it needs a little bit of snow on the roof here. I think we need to feel like it's kind of piled up here like that. And, you know, every once in a while when you try stuff, this is the first time I've ever painted this, but when you try stuff and you're thinking, you know what, this could be cuter if we did something different. That's why we're kind of designing this together today. Seeing how we like our snow globe. Let's just do a little thing here across here like that too, like a little awning. Yeah? Ho ho ho, so much better, yeah? We'll kind of cover up some of that pen. Oh. Better, yes and yes?
It's so whimsical.
It's so whimsical. I'm not sure about this little house, this little window.
Ooh, wiped out that window.
Yeah, it just needed to be bigger. You know that? It was too little.
It needs more of a picture window than that first
I needed a bigger window here. We had some windows. I really don't like the black in there. The reason I did it was because it's in my reference. It's a good lesson, isn't it? And what you don't do and don't want to do. So I don't like the black. I'm just going to take that out. I know that sounds crazy, but I just don't like it. And, you know, I think sometimes you guys, when you're painting, you think, well, I'm stuck with this. That's how it was.
Well, you're really not stuck with anything, guys.
No, you're not stuck with anything. That one up there we can leave, but let's make that one a little bigger too. See, a little bit bigger window, yeah? Now, I'll put white on the mullions instead of black, and I think it will look better. And what's with the ugly black door? What's that about? How about a red
Well,
door?
yeah. What happened to that door?
Well, the picture, the reference photo, it's
Well, again, it's just a reference. Doesn't mean you're.
exactly. It was, so there's a tendency to want to do it the color of the reference because, it was the reference color. Yes.
Think beyond the reference.
Yeah. I guess that's one of the things you want to think about too is think beyond the reference. No pun intended
That's just
here.
a reference. That's what
So
what
let's
it
take
means.
a little bit of the purple here, and then blue, and this is the darker side of the house right here. So let's darken this side right here. It comes down in here like this. And we wanted something a little dark under here too. Okay. So the trick, John, I'm going to dry it for real quick and I'll be right back. And I have to dry some of this. Okay.
You were saying something?
The trick seems to be
Yes.
to, now I got that a little dark, but I think that I can make up for that as soon as I put put another window there on this side here of the house too, see? A lot of water on this brush. It's going to say it's dropping. But it doesn't hurt to give it another touch-up of yellow, right? Sorry, and then I think we want a chimney on the here like that, and we'll put some snow on top of the chimney too.
An orange chimney?
Well, yeah, it's a red chimney, sure.
Why not, right?
My picture, it's an orange chimney. Somebody wants to make a different colored chimney? They can. It's an orange chimney with snow on top, or maybe there won't be snow on top. We don't know, right? And I'll just and again, the door's a little dark. So let's take a little bit of yellow and put a dot there. See? A little bit of a window in the door.
I like that. Now it looks like a hobbit house.
Well, that works for me. You got something against hobbit houses?
I do not.
You want to say it to my face? Just tell them all. Just tell everybody what you think. Yeah, you're just trying to get everybody to just leave our channel and start slamming hobbit houses? Yeah, go ahead. Say that to our face.
Oh, man. We'll be in big trouble.
That's right. So, okay, so there's that. In that case, that. And then we want more snow. Too much paint on the brush. A little bit more white on the roof. A little bit white on top of the chimney. Kind of slant it down so it looks like it's fitted in there. Okay. Yes and yes. I'm thinking, what?
A little snowman?
Snowman in front. What do you think?
I think it's perfect.
Don't we need one? I mean, at this point, we're talking about imagination, right?
Absolutely.
That's where mine goes. Right? Little fence, just to kind of give it a little something, again, it's my imagination. This is a little dark here by that house. Let's pick a different color. It needs to be a darker value than the others, but not so dark that it's let's just kind of trim that window up a little bit. There you go. It's just a little bit darker, but not so dark. It's easy to overdo these things, and because when I'm looking at the way they've done their windows on this house, there's a tendency to always want to sort of just do whatever they did in the reference photo. And again, we keep talking about that, but it's just really easy to do. Yeah. All right, so you can kind of see where we've got a cute little house now. We've got a little snowman. A little snowman would have a hat and a scarf and stuff, wouldn't he? Well, you can't have a snowman without a couple layers. Now we've gotten in it with the snowman. So we just suggested one before. So let's just really put one in now with the white. All right, so there's our snowman, and we're going to just put some white on the fences like that. And I want to come back over here and suggest, let's see, whatever I was painting over there, I want to suggest that this is some sort of mountain up here.
For the waterfall to come down?
Yeah, for the, why is there a waterfall here? In other words, maybe there's a mountain. Could be a mountain.
Could be.
We just invented one.
No reason not to have one.
We're just going to say there's a mountain up there. I don't know if this, look, that doesn't, I'm going to shorten these little things so they don't interfere with my waterfall. Make these a little shorter. Let's just put some purple here. Shorten these things here like that. There you go. Now you can see my waterfall on that cliff up here like that. And then what do you always know about mountain peaks? I always have the mountain peaks, right?
I like it.
Yeah? Something like that. Yes and yes. There's always a shady side to your rocks. Okay, so we're saying there's that, and then there's this waterfall that's coming down like this. And this is doing this. And we don't know why. It's just part of the original picture, and we kind of like it, right? We're just suggesting mountains there. And we're just not talking about them back here. Yeah? There's mountains and there's stuff. There's another little green tree back here. There's some stuff in the distance that we're just barely talking about.
Way off.
Yeah.
Way back yonder.
Yeah.
Where did that ever come back? Yonder. Where's yonder?
I don't know. Where did that come from?
We're back yonder.
Yeah. So where did that come from? Now, okay, so now we take our Posca pen. We have a fine one. And we'll try it with the white.
You're going to go back to the windows?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to go back with the windows and try a fine white one.
What you've done before?
Because I think that will look better than the black. Sometimes if you know, one of the person that was just great at putting in windows was Thomas Kincaid, and he didn't use black. He always used oftentimes he used white and orange.
Should you dry it before you run your hand through that area?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right, so...
I just felt like you should dry it because I know how you just take your arms and just... Nervous Nelly, that's me, Nervous Nelly. Because I'm out back yonder.
Doesn't the white work better?
It doesn't seem to be as intrusive. It seems more holiday-ish.
Yeah, the black is a little bit severe, isn't it?
A little strong.
There, so you got some. Now that's a happier house, isn't it? You know. Now we want some icicles coming down. For those of you who don't live in snow areas, one of the most fun things about winter are icicles coming down from the roof. They're like little sharp points of melted ice, and that part's really fun. And then the other part is you're tempted to eat one because you can't help it, and then particularly if you're a kid. And they usually have dirt with them because they're part of the...
It's part of the mineral. It's part of the experience.
Yeah, and then they can actually kill people because of their because they're very pointed.
It's the ideal murder weapon.
Yeah,
because it just melts away.
And nobody can stab somebody with an icicle. Not that we're suggesting people go out and murder others with icicles. Here's it
Murder
on
and
the
mayhem.
You see, like that.
Oh, whoa.
Sorry.
You thought you were going to sneak those in and I wouldn't see them?
Yes.
So where's the tractor?
There's no tractor. Sorry, just no tractor.
Man.
Now our snowman.
Kind of got lost, didn't he?
Well, that's all right, because he's... What you don't appreciate that there's just like any kind of ball, there's like two sides. But let's see, let's just play with the Posca pens for a minute, because he's going to have like a little scarf like that.
Oh, you're going to jazz him up.
And he can have...
He's going to have a little hat? He should have a top hat.
He can have a little hat.
Perfect.
Can have little sticks for arms. And
really what they have. We're going to do the eyes. Need coal for eyes.
There
you go.
There you go. Got a little...
That's perfect.
Little snowman, right?
Come on, guys.
Come on, we're making this up as we go, and I hope I know that if I was doing it live, you'd all be shouting wonderful things at me to do this, do that, do that. Yeah?
We can't wait to see what you do.
But, let's see, we want to do the white over the top of the roof here like that. Make sure we get that.
It's starting to pile up.
Yeah, you want that kind of uneven snow. Okay, so now that's looking pretty good, isn't it? I think we should, the waterfall, the way I've done it, really should splash. It should have a splash aspect to it. Assuming that something happened and it splashed. I'm just thinking it did. So, I had not good colors on this brush.
What happened?
So see, I had too much brown on the brush, so I'm just scraping the bottom of the bucket to just really clean this brush off. Then I want zinc white, because that's how we're going to make our splash, right? And we're going to come across, and see, again, too much water. You can't wring this out enough. Okay.
Are you really wringing it out?
Yeah, I'm wringing it out like a sweater.
Wringing it out.
See, and even that's not. See, look at that. See, a little bit of mist coming up. Ooh, yes. Then we'll put a little bit of blue in front of it, so that we'll push that in the background. We're going to say we don't know where the waterfall is, but it's way back there somewhere. See. And then we'll have, something like this coming this way. Yeah?
There you go.
So we got this. We've suggested that there's a waterfall without saying too much, right?
Waterfall back yonder.
Yeah, waterfall back yonder, maybe some pine trees, some mountains. Again, it's our little world. We've made it up. Okay, so now that we've thoroughly...
Yeah, besides making it up, though, we did have references we started with, people.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
It didn't come off the top of our heads.
No, at some point, it kind of does. But at this point, now we're going to start to add some patina to our... Patina is, kind of what they do to metal when it kind of rusts.
Typically copper.
Stuff. Copper has a tendency to have patina, which is kind of fun. phthalo green is a good color for this because it's nice and bright. And want some lighter than others. And I want maybe a little bit darker green coming around the side here because it's a rounded thing. Too much paint, just kind of work that in. This is one of those things where the more layers you get on that and dry in between, the better you are. Put a little paint, take it all off the brush, and then work the edges. Don't work the middle, work the edges. That's where people kind of miss it, is you want to put a little bit of paint like this, and then wipe all the paint off the brush and then come around the outside of it and try to work the edges. You can always smudge out something if you don't want it. And again, you see how we kind of layered up this.
Lots of colors in that base.
Yeah, there's lots of colors, which makes it really pretty. Just gives you something a little bit more to go on. Makes it feel to me a little more authentic. I know I want something a little bit more purple back up in here, coming around the bottom here like this, a little bit darker, closer to this, and probably over here I want to suggest that it's darker there too. We want to suggest it's sitting on something. And we haven't put the snow yet. We still have to put the snow. But we wanted to get this all up here before we did that. And let's just phthalo green and white, which I think is kind of pretty. Yes and yes. Let's bring this down. I can zoom back out for me, John.
I'm going to do my best. You know how me and the zoomer have been getting along lately.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Some darker green here on this edge. And then maybe a little bit of a highlight here. And then something light here. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that. Probably need a little lighter. I'll say I need a different brush. What I need. Not that one. I feel like Goldilocks here. Not that one. Maybe this one. Yeah. So I want a darker edge right along here like this. Okay, just did that. A little bit darker edge. I think I would paint. I had this before. I had this orange. I think gold would be pretty for the label, for this year's label.
Like a brass thingy.
Yeah, like that. Let's do a gold label. Okay, that's it. I like the gold, don't you? And
it looks good.
So then I think
you might want, if you'd be writing letters on that, you might want to smooth it out a little bit. Numbers, get it smoother. You got some bumps in there.
Oh yeah, it's true.
I'm just thinking for.
No, you're absolutely right.
You want that to be pretty
we want a little bit of a shadow right here and underneath it, but not on top. So on top, I don't want a shadow on top of this. Okay. In other words, there's a tendency to want to outline the whole thing, and I don't want to do that. Just on that side right there. That's better, yeah. And then here's a little bit of gold paint. I want a little bit of gold here, just a few touches. A little bit of gold somewhere.
Where else can I use this color?
we'll kind of do that. You know what I mean? Just because there'll be a highlight there because I did it right like that on the base and
That's a fun looking globe.
Huh?
That's a fun looking one.
It's got some, it's got some nice. I think it has some nice highlights, and I want to make sure I have those. It's easy to just lose it and not have them. And let's make sure it's going around the edge like that. Let's just cement it in to the, in other words, it's got to go around this guy here like that. There you go. So he's brought in a little bit. And then the other one I had, which I really liked in the first one, I had this sort of phthalo blue, this light blue-green color up here, which I'm missing. I don't want to lose that. That green is so pretty, that light green. I want to lose that. All right, so I think it's time to add a little snow.
Snow in numbers, and I think we're basically done with it, huh?
Yeah, I think it's time to add a little snow. If I kind of check it out with...
I'm thinking you want to dry before we start laying things around it.
Yeah, let's dry it. Okay.
All right, that's looking pretty good.
Okay, so we're gonna do some snow like this. I'm gonna just take this like this so that we can use our toothbrush trick. Okay, and do some snow on our globe. All right.
I would grab one more to do that one side, the right.
What, over here?
Yep.
Well, if I get any over, I don't really care because I'm going to put the background dark anyway.
All right.
It doesn't really matter, but probably the good one ought to go here. All right? The new towel ought to go here. And I won't worry about this side at all because I'm going to go ahead and I've got to darken this side a little bit. All right?
You want any of that base to show?
What? No, I don't want the base to show.
Snug it up a little bit. There you go.
All right. So now I'm going to take some, let's see, what have we got here?
Probably titanium white or the liquid.
Trying to think what I've got to put it in, not what I have. What do I have?
Oh, we got one of those little cups, don't you?
No, it's not going to work for that. Okay, so here's a paper plate. It's got some white on it.
Why wouldn't a little cup work?
Because you have to flatten it out like this. People don't understand. You don't want a cup. You have to flatten it out like that. It's got to have enough water on a stiff brush, and then you test it like that. See?
Man, all these rules and regulations.
I'm telling you, it's a thing. And if you have a mistake in your picture...
It's a great way to hide it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no mistake.
Well, there could be one. And then if you have one, let's see, like, for instance, we're out of white paint. We're not even done with the silly painting yet, and we're out of white paint. It's now annoying.
That's very annoying.
Because, you hate to put out a little white for it, and it's got green in it, so I don't want that. I want green snow. I don't know what that means, green snow.
I couldn't tell you. Yellow snow, I understand, but green snow?
I don't know what that means. Maybe it's Martian time or something. So I want a little bit of paint and water. And test it on something. Because if you get a big blob and you're doing a second coat, you can't fix it.
Well, that's looking good. Someone shook that globe up good.
They did, didn't they? Now I'm thinking... All right, so now we've got...
Now we've got snow on our snow globe.
I'm going to miss the top. Okay, so now what I'm going to do before I go back and change, fix the background, darken the background, is I'm going to dry it. But when you're drawing snow, you have to be very careful. Now, here's the thing, because if you got it too wet and you dry it, you'll just blow it everywhere. So perhaps we'll not dry it, and then we'll just let that sit for a minute, and we'll do the numbers.
That's a better idea.
Let's not do that. Maybe we'll do white numbers this time. We had black before, but I think it needs white, don't you?
So
this is 2022 now. Okay, so now we got to talk about
the right way to
sign
do
painting.
Sign painting 101.
Yeah. So you want
not recommended for dyslexic people.
Yeah. So sign painting 101. So you want to take some tape, a little tiny tape, artist tape, like this, and you're going to say, so here's my letters are going to be, let's just make a dot. They're going to be in here like that. So let's going to come up here like this. Come down here like this. So what the thing is I don't want them to I want them to be even. Yeah. So I'm going to say this is the let's see. Here, I'll show you what we're going to do.
No, we're going back to black. Ah.
Yeah?
A good idea.
And we're going to put them about like that. Yeah? Of course, you could put your family name on them, or Happy Holidays, or Magic Kingdom, whatever you want to put.
Or do not touch. Fancy look.
Now, the secret to any kind of lettering is to make all the things the same. You can make up your own lettering when you're doing a sign. You just have, if you're saying this is a 2, make all the 2s the same. That makes sense? Doesn't really matter what it is you've decided is a 2. But once you've said that's what it is, you got to just keep the letters the same, or the numbers. We like my, all right, we got 2022, and I think I have a gold pen somewhere. All right, let's see how we did. So,
it's a masterpiece.
I think we did okay, don't you? I mean, you might think so. Then here's a gold pen up here. Let's love the gold pen. I never know what's going to be the goldest, but there you go. So something like that. And touch my house there. Okay, so now this is dried enough, the snow, where, and I want my birds to show up, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a, like that, so they'll show up. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and dry that, and then finish the outside of this. Okay. So, now we're going to take I'd like to be able to do this for you in an hour, but you can't always get things done as quickly as you'd like.
Well, that's write a great American novel in an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna darken up the blue here. Let's see if we like that color. Put a little phthalo blue with it. All right, so I'm going to darken up the blue up here around my snow globe. I'm going to just turn this upside down so I can easily paint this in. That way, too, if you happen to have gotten some paint, a little bit of spatter.
A little snow outside the globe.
You're going to be okay. Don't need a lot of paint. I just need it kind of consistent.
Yeah, it looks better. Too late before.
Yep. Now what we need to do is put the highlights. Yeah, isn't that funny? Just contrast is everything. I want to make sure I've got this. Let me dry that, and then I'll put the highlights on my snow globe, so if they're wrong, I can wipe it off. Okay, so the final thing is to take the white paint and take a little time here and I don't want to outline the whole thing, but I want to just, in a couple places, do a light line on the snow globe.
Kind of like highlights from the lights that are in the room.
Yeah. See, something like that. So you're just not drawing, outlining the whole thing. You could use a Posca pen if that's easier. I find an angle brush like this pretty nice to use. Thick and thin lines. Okay. Okay. Just kind of nice. Well, yes and yes. Then what you want to do is take the mixing zinc white, flatten it out, wipe most of it off your brush, and then come up here maybe on this side, do a couple swipes.
White swirls.
Like glass is reflecting. Yes?
There's the glare, the reflections, as it were.
And then I might take a little titanium, have a couple of little brighter ones. Like that.
Perfect.
Like that. There you go. Got a couple of little... It's small stuff, and I was thinking it would look so cool to have a castle back here and maybe some mountain peaks or,
I think a dragon flying through there would be cool.
Yeah, dragon would be cool too. I mean, there's so many things you could do. It's hard to stop, but, John and I got to go eat dinner or breakfast or whenever this is airing. When does this air?
We believe we're shooting for November 21st, and we'll be in Australia. And we don't know what time it is for us then. If it's 5:30 here.
Morning time, so maybe it's time to go eat or something, or get room service or something. But I wanted to show you before we quit, and this is so important. The painting that we're releasing in the Academy.
Oh, yeah.
Is I wanted to just get away from all this holiday stuff, and maybe some of you just wanted to paint something pretty, just painting, right? And
Yeah.
this one is called, it's part of our Cowboy series.
My Friend Flicka.
My Friend Flicka, which is be released this week, November, for those of you who will want to get back on the horse and get back on.
Oh, look at that segue.
Maybe you haven't been painting in a while, and this will get you back in the saddle again for painting.
Oh, look at you, a double whammy.
Because you got to admit, our cowboy's kind of cute, right there with his dusty jeans and so forth. Don't want to get too graphic, but you know, he's a cutie, right? And I certainly love don't you love our little horse? Particularly Flicka, I think, is so sweet. And those of you who remember that show, of course, Flicka we know was a Palomino. No cards and letters, please. We just thought it was a cool name, okay? So,
Get over it, people.
well, you can send us cards. Christmas cards are always nice.
Absolutely.
We won't get them until we get back, but you can still send them. And you know, the cards that I really like to get from you guys are the ones that have your paintings on them.
Just so you know.
And donations inside are good too, but paintings for sure. Oh gosh, I just knocked a whole gaggle of brushes over.
Oh, that's good. See, I'm so glad I straightened up everything.
Now, I'm going to, the painting we released last week, which is so important, right?
This is
And we released this enough time so you can have this done for the holidays, is this one with the old DG American artist in the old mill. And this is, what size was this canvas, John? 18 by 24, right?
14 by 18?
14 by 18.
Yep.
And it's a box of cookie lessons, and I think that, again, different styles of painting. Not everybody wants to paint the same things. But the technique that you learned in my snow globe,
Translate
over into the sky, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes and yes. Mm-hmm. Learn these things. So even if you find this is too hard a lesson, maybe you don't want to do it, watch it. You're going to learn a lot. All right. Being an Academy member is just, if it's worth your time to be an artist and you're still learning, and trust me, we're all learning, it's worth your time to be a member of our Academy. Paintingwithgingercook.com. You just you really want to check us out, because we have over 500 videos that are for beginner, just very simple ones to these challenging ones. And people in a really short period of time, I'm amazed at the speed that people are able to get up to be able to do paintings like that. So, for instance, like in the following week is going to be, the release will be this old car in the woods.
In the snow.
In the snow.
Snow and woods.
Snow and
12
woods.
by 16 on that one. That was a fun one to do.
I love that one. I just thought that was so fun. So those are what we're doing. We appreciate, again, John and I, hopefully by the time that we air this, John and I will have, fortunately, have gotten married.
Well, we hope.
We have a plan to do that. Now, we'll let you know in the live chat if that didn't happen. But
if that was reality or not.
We're supposed to stop by Liz's house in where?
Georgia.
In Georgia.
North Georgia.
And you know, Lady Liz is an ordained minister and is going to perform the ceremony.
She's going to bless us.
So hopefully we'll be married by then. But you never know. Time and circumstances, you know, everybody. So I'm going to just take a moment here and
you're going to frame this baby?
I'm going to frame it. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to show you the frame on it. Just look how nice this snow globe looks framed. Can't you see yourself doing this for the holidays? Yes
if
and
I
yes.
Could back out, it'd be great.
Yeah. Look at that.
Go backing out. Oh,
and this is where you get, you know, where imagination meets the canvas. Yes.
Ooh, imagination meets the canvas.
That sounds good. This is.
I'm thinking a T-shirt out of that one.
I was thinking the same thing too. We need a little bit more.
I gotta write that one down.
White.
Wait.
Here, like that, where imagination meets the canvas. In this case, acrylic goes lighter. There you go. So now we've got the feeling of the snow. This is one of my favorite snow globes. We've had so many. I showed you the ones that we've got. We've done so many over the years, but this is probably my new favorite. What about you, John?
My new favorite? I don't know. I really like the teddy bear. I haven't seen that one yet, I don't think.
The snow globe? We didn't. Oh, the teddy bear?
Yeah, the one we just did recently.
Oh, no, that wasn't a snow globe.
No. Snow globes, though, yeah, I like this one. This has got a lot of potential. You can do a lot of things with this one. We got a lot of good stuff.
I just didn't want to take anything away from down there, so I'm putting
Putting it up top.
Putting it up top with the signature. There
Okay, it's done now.
It's done.
Oh, man. You know, red slash goes on, you quit painting. Paint brushes down. And that means Posca, too.
All right, you guys, how fun was this? Thanks for hanging out with us and doing that. Thanks our moderators for hanging out with us, too. I look around and I always think about, you know, when you look at the lights and the darks, the only thing I'm missing is a little light on that edge. And so, but you know what? We know where the paint is. A little bit of light edge on this. Just something a little lighter right here. Like that. There, see? Just small stuff. And, but, you know, have fun with this. And I hope you're part of our Facebook club because I love seeing what you paint. I get very excited. John and I check at Facebook every day. And sometimes I don't always get a chance to comment, but pretty much I see it. And I'll tell you what, our moderators make sure I see it too. If somebody does look for the shout outs and also be looking for, because we haven't been able to feature your artwork on our shows because they're pre-recorded, look for some, you might be featured in our YouTube Gazette. Be sure you're subscribed to that and getting the latest news and our travel stuff. And maybe even a wedding photo or two could show up in that. You never know.
You never know.
So
okay.
We'll see you next. We'll see you.
It's 8 to 8:30. It's 8:30 in the morning, Australia time.
We love you then a lot.
You may only see one of us.
John may not get up that early. John doesn't get up till 11. This is asking a lot.
8:30. Oh my goodness!
But just.
We'll see about this one, folks. Matter of fact, we're supposed to be going on the ship that day. I don't know how we're going to do this because that's boarding day.
Oh.
So you may or may not see us.
Oh yeah, you may not, huh? Yeah, not on this one. Well, so good.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Hey, if you see us, bonus. You know, if you see us.
I think that'll be too much, because we'll see. Because if you see us, we'll be in the hotel before we are ready to go over the ship, right?
Yeah. We could at least go on and say, hey, then we got to leave.
Yeah. So love you guys. Thanks. Yeah. And I hope that you do this for the holidays and have fun with it.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you. No, we won't see you. You'll see us next week.
All right. Happy Monday. Bye.
Ginger Cook, the queen of color, with a blazing brush at the speed of light, and a blank canvas, and a hearty yes and yes. The queen of color, Ginger Cook, and her sidekick, John Little, teach you to paint with acrylics.